media mogul Jimmy Lai and 7 other veterans Democrat activists. And stay with us as we report the latest developments in the courtroom and Hong Kongers' support outside the court. And I know some of our audience are from the U.S., so I promise that I will do the brief background briefing later on. But first, let's catch Edward Chin. He is a hedge fund manager and also the convener of the 2047 Hong Kong Monitor. So, Edward, okay. Hi. Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, so just can you tell me why you're here today?
Well, basically in support of all the pro-democracy activists and Hong Kongers who have sacrificed so much for Hong Kong over the last few years. And this sentencing of Jimmy Lai and Martin Lee, they are very symbolic because it serves as a precedent of how the sentencing will be like moving forward, because this is not just one case and there are so many other cases, including cases that involve the national security law, which is even more surreal. The sentencing could be as severe as life imprisonment. So, but this is the first time that, as you alluded to earlier, Martin Lee's first time to be sentenced, inside a Hong Kong court. And he was also formerly a Hong Kong bar chairperson, which is quite ironic.
Yeah. So what do you think, if there's about the conviction and if there's the sentencing today, what does it mean to you?
Well, I am not too optimistic, given the fact that even before any sentencing, the Beijing media, their mouthpiece like Tai Kung Pao or Wen Wei Bao will kind of set the stage and, develop some sort of narrative to admonish, so to speak, the judges to have so-called fair sentence on the subjects, right? So this makes Hong Kong look like China completely in less than 9 months since the enactment of the national security law. And to most people, living in Hong Kong is no different from living in China anymore, where press freedom, freedom of expression is under suppression. So it's quite surreal to see all these drastic changes.
So where do you see the future of the city lie?
Well, it's like what you are seeing now. The spirit is not there, and people get scared, and then they just use these different scare tactics to suppress the people. Just like yesterday, the so-called first day of the National Security Day, the chief of police, would announce publicly that the media, they have to pay for reporting. So this is quite ridiculous, when media is just, doing their job, and then they're using these different tactics and also letting Hong Kong look more like an authoritarian China. That's basically it.
I see. So have you followed the new electoral system in Hong Kong, the revamped?
Yes, I follow it, and there's almost absolutely no chance for pro-democracy candidates to even so-called enter the gate, right? Because there's a heavy vetting process at the top. So in order to go through this heavy vetting process, you almost have to prove that you are a patriot. And they have the NSL police will get involved. For instance, they will check whether you have been to any demonstrations of sorts, and just go through all your darkest, so to speak, and dirtiest secrets, right? Of course, according to them. But in Western definition, Hong Kong people in this so-called once famed city should be protected by common law. And right now, this national security law is above all laws, which make things look very depressing now in Hong Kong.
I see. So you know that the printing press of Epoch Times is being vandalized earlier in the early morning on Monday this week, and so like today is the first time that the print shop is able to print the paper now. So what do you think of it?
I think we have, as Hong Kongers, we have to keep battling on, and we have to condemn those who did this act of vandalism, because it's not just Epoch Times. It's also challenging the whole Hong Kong old system. This so-called new Hong Kong enactment of whatever, NSL being one, is basically dismantling the old core values of Hong Kong. So we have to condemn those who did this vandalism act, and I hope the police will get involved in an unbiased manner, which is sometimes most people find it questionable.
So how will you describe your emotion about Hong Kong, like right now? Angry, sad?
I guess most people feel hopeless. But even in times of desperation, we should not give up hope. And that's why you see there's a long lineup right now for people waiting for the verdict. I know it's tough for everyone. It's tough for the families of those who get convicted, or those who are just detained. And some people have been detained for months now before the trial. Yeah.
So, do you plan to leave Hong Kong, or you will stay here?
I think for myself, I will stay till the end.
You're in Katy.
I'm a Hong Konger. I'm a Canadian as well, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter as long as you still believe that, like we as Hong Kongers, or anyone who still want to defend the city, we will defend it to the last minute, unless it is not something that you can do anymore. For instance, if you are being held at gunpoint every morning, right? They break in without a search warrant and just do all sorts of crazy and evil things, and we are not too far away from that, to be honest. But so we need to be brave, and we need to have hope, and we should not give up hope.
So how would you describe Hong Kong to Westerners?
How do I describe?
How will you describe Hong Kong to Westerners?
It is a city under duress. There's unjust law that was superimposed on Hong Kong people and expatriates also living in Hong Kong, which is the NSL, right? In a normal city, in a normal state, NSL, national security, there's no problem. But in a totalitarian regime, national security is used to suppress the people, to lock them up. It could be in indefinite terms, just like what we are seeing. And then in the name of national security, almost 100 people are detained, charged, not charged yet, but waiting to be on trial, right? Which is quite surreal. So this is quite nonsense, honestly. And it's different from what Deng Xiaoping promised, the former paramount leader, when he also says that, like all voices should be heard in Hong Kong. Yeah, and now there's only one voice to be heard, which is the authoritarian voice from Beijing.
Thank you, Edward.
God bless us all.
Thank you. So you can see there's a lineup outside of court, and now they're letting people to go inside. Okay, there's...
That's good. Just remember, when you're talking,
Okay, I'll give some brief background of the event today. So we're outside of the West Kowloon Court, and then there will be a mitigation hearing of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region versus 7 veteran Hong Kong Democrats. Will soon begin here. And the 7 defendants include Martin Lee, the father of Hong Kong democracy, and Jimmy Lai, a local billionaire who owns Next Media Group. And the district court judge convicted the 7 Democrats earlier on April 1st on the grounds of unauthorized assembly charges. The assembly occurred on August 18, 2019 in Victoria Park. And according to the organizer, Civil Human Rights Front, it says about 1.7 million people attend the event, and roughly a quarter of the Hong Kong's population. And the initial application include a rally and a march. The police approved the assembly but object to the procession. And the gathering attendees marched from Victoria Park to Central and dispersed peacefully at midnight. The unauthorized assembly charges are about the 7's participation in the procession from Victoria Park to Central. And on April 18, 2020, 9 Democrats were arrested, and the trial began in February. And 2 of them, Au Lok Hin, age 33, and Leung Yu-zhong, age 67, out of the 9 pleaded guilty. And their sentences will be announced in this afternoon. And 7 in the mitigation hearing this morning, have pleaded not guilty. The mitigation hearing is a procedure that allows the accused person or his lawyer to tell the court matters that may persuade the court to impose a more lenient sentence. The court may call for more reports before it decides on the sentence. It's Adrian's. And some legal experts expect jail terms of 12 to 18 months. The maximum possible sentence for the charges is 5 years. And all 7 Democrats are in their 60s or older. In addition to Martin Lee and Jimmy Lai, the other defendants include prominent barrister Margaret Ng. She is also a former lawmaker. She is 73 now. And veteran Democrats Cheuk-yan, age 64, Albert Ho, also a former lawmaker, 69, Leung Kok-hong, long hair, 65, and Sit Ho, 66. And I can see, as you can see, there's one lady in the lineup holding a paper on her hand saying, "Free all political prisoners." Talk to Okay. Hi. So can you tell me what's your name and where you're from?
Hello, good morning. I'm Charles Whiteley from the European Union delegation in Hong Kong.
Okay. And so why are you here?
So last year, our 27 foreign ministers of the European Union agreed to closely follow trials involving pro-democracy figures. And today's, of course, a very important landmark in that respect with the sentencing of various pro-democracy figures who've been very prominent in Hong Kong. So we've been watching the whole trial, and we're here now to see what happens with the sentencing, along with others from different diplomatic missions in Hong Kong.
So any expectation?
No, I mean, it's down to the courts, and the courts here in Hong Kong are open, so we're it's open to everyone to come and watch. So that's what we're doing, and we'll see how it turns out today.
Okay. So and what do you think of the future here in the city?
Well, I don't really want to comment on that. I mean, we're focusing on the trial today, or the sentencing of the court case. As I say, we've followed that very closely for the several weeks, the 20 days, I think, of the trial, and we'll be following the outcome today and reflecting on that outcome.
What's the meaning of the conviction, or if any sentencing is resolved?
Sorry?
What's the meaning to the international society?
Well, I think, we're following this because, as I say, it involves pro-democracy figures, and also it involves a peaceful protest. So clearly, this is of interest, legitimate interest to the international community, and that's why we're here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So right now, our reporters are outside of the Hong Kong courthouse to bring you the latest updates from the scene. And we just saw some of the subjects of today's trial pass by, and right now we're looking at Albert Ho. He's a former Hong Kong lawmaker and former Democratic Party chair. We also saw Margaret Ng pass by, and she's the 2020 Hong Kong Bar Association's International Human Rights Award laureate. Today we are live outside of the West Kowloon Courts building, and here today the judge will announce the sentencing of the two landmark Hong Kong Democrat cases. The 9 defendants of the 2 cases include Martin Lee, who is the founding chairman of the Democratic Party, and he's often considered the father of the Hong Kong democracy. We're also going to see media tycoon Jimmy Lai, who founded the Apple Daily newspaper in Hong Kong. And we're also going to see 7 other veteran Democrat activists. Stay with us as we report on the latest developments in the courtroom and outside the courtroom to see Hong Kongers' support. And right now we are seeing Martin Lee as well as Albert Ho.
Hong Kong had a legislature elected by the people in 1995, unlike today's unfair appropriation of seats to guarantee a pro-Beijing majority. Its first act of sovereignty, the CCP abolished this legislature and replaced it with a Beijing-appointed body, the Provisional Legislative Council. During the Sino-British talks, the CCP allowed next to Martin Lee is Albert Ho, another lawmaker. He's also one of the defendants as well.
So we can hear Albert Ho saying that they're going to persevere, and Martin Lee said he's very healthy.
Well, I'm completely relaxed. Okay. Whatever happens, I can take it.
And as we can just hear him saying, he said, whatever happens, we can take it. The man we're seeing with the great hair is Martin Lee. And Albert Ho is saying that we're going to continue to have hopes. As you can see, crowds of Hong Kong media are gathering outside the courthouse to report on today's sentencing. And today, several prominent Hong Kong activists, as well as Apple Daily founder Jimmy Lai, are about to learn their fate as trials of pro-democracy camp continue.
So Martin is filling out the health form before he gets it to the court. Do you mind if I interview you? Do you mind if I interview you?
Not at the moment.
Okay, thank you. So while we're waiting here, we continue with Martin's story. During the Sino-British talks, the CCP allowed Martin's input, for example, having the Court of Final Appeal of Hong Kong in the city and employing at-large foreign judges. Martin changed his initial opinion of the incompatibility of the CCP and Hong Kong's prosperity and openly praised the drafting process of Hong Kong Basic Law before 1997. He said that the drafting work was very pleasant and that I haven't seen a country so open in its constitution drafting. Therefore, in the 80s, Hong Kongers considered him as a mild Democrat. Some believed that he was pro-Beijing. Then the Tiananmen massacre happened in 1989. The CCP military killed students in the pro-democratic movements. Lee called for international sanctions of the CCP. According to Martin's website, he was expelled from the Basic Law Drafting Committee as a result. In a BBC interview in May 2020, Lee said that Hong Kong students once asked him in tears why he would accept the Sino-British Declaration and one country, two system. He responded, "So what we don't accept it? Do we advocate for continued British governing? The UK has let us go, so we object, but we then launch a revolution?" The two governments signed a joint declaration. I couldn't think of a better solution. It's that simple. What opinions did we have? In the same interview, Lee also recalled that he raised the possibility of Hong Kong independence with the CCP officials before the Sino-British Joint Declaration's announcement and was rejected in his face. And then on April 1st, 2020, Martin was arrested on unauthorized assembly charges in August 2019. After he was released on bail, he said he had gained peace. He said, "I have seen so many good young people arrested and charged in so many months and years, and I wasn't charged." He was guilty. He was proud of being a defendant and happy to see a young generation in Hong Kong continuing the path of pursuing democracy. In Martin's published in the Washington Post in April 2020, he called his arrest a part of a larger plan, choking off freedoms in Hong Kong. He said that Hong Kong people faced two plagues from China: coronavirus and attacks on Hong Kong's most basic human rights. He said while a vaccine would address the former, the fatal virus of the authoritarian rule wouldn't seem to go away. William McGurn, a member of the Wall Street Journal editorial board, revealed in an April 2020 opinion article that Martin Lee shared his father's advice with McGurn. "Martin, you can never ever trust the communists," that's his father's advice. Martin Lee's father was a former Kuomintang, a general who fought the Japanese during the Second World War and left China for Hong Kong after 1949. After the national security law took effect in July 2020, Martin Lee was said that he felt guilty to the younger generation that his generation left a lousy environment in Hong Kong. He wanted to stay in Hong Kong and face the risk together. Alexander Liu, a columnist of the Epoch Times, lived and worked as a senior journalist and editor for many years. He analyzed that Martin's generation of democratic activists shares some common traits. One, they endorse China. And second, they insist on being peaceful and non-violent. And third, they don't support Hong Kong's independence. Their conviction shows that the democratic path of the older generation doesn't work, according to Liu. He said that the future opposition in Hong Kong would no longer rely on the rule of law in Hong Kong. They will acknowledge Hong Kong, but not China. So more people come, as you can see the lineup start again. You want to pan to the lineups? And I think there's some plain clothes here, right? You want to see pan the plain clothes. I know, just. I think there's a line of police out there, outside the court, watching over the crowd. As you can see, they are plain clothes.
Ready to preach something for
The reporter asked whether he has any confidence towards the jurisdiction in Hong Kong. Right now, we're seeing former Hong Kong lawmaker Martin Lee going up the escalator, and several reporters are following him. And reporters downstairs are urging people to come down because it is not allowed to photograph upstairs.
That if there is no democracy in the mainland, even if there is democracy in Hong Kong, it is not a true democracy. That kind of democracy is an authoritarian democracy, he said. His remarks ring true today, 10 years later, as Hong Kong's electoral system has completely changed. Xi Jinping signed the order on March 30th this year, expanded the 70 seats in electrical to 90 seats, and reduced the number of seats Hong Kong public can elect from 35 to 20. So 15
操如平安呢，係南北朝嘅時候，好多即係一個好憂患嘅時代，好多嘅
Right now we're seeing former Hong Kong lawmaker Sit Ho,
咁而操平安
and
呢，
she holds several bookmarks. She's holding several bookmarks on her hand. Some of them are saying to be safe and to be peaceful.
人哋問你生活過成點嘅時候咧，你就可以話大概 OK 啦，算係咁啦，就係如操平安。咁呢個係同友好報平安嚇。咁當然大悲大智係香港人而家都需要有。
So she's trying to explain the characters written on those bookmarks, some of which mean that everything's okay.
其實監獄可以困住你嘅人。
The prison can imprison your physical being, but your mental state's under your own control. If you think that what you are doing is not harming anyone, then your mental state is still very free. I don't need to be like high-ranking officials. They only deprive people of their rights. I don't think their minds will be at peace. We're now seeing former Hong Kong lawmaker and Labour Party Vice Chair Sit Ho. One of her bookmarks read, 大悲大智, or in Mandarin, 大悲大智, which in English means great compassion and great wisdom.
Transfer of Hong Kong sovereignty in 2007, Albert said that CCP had hindered Hong Kong's democracy for 50 years because the CCP worried that Hong Kong's democratization would impact the mainland. Albert also pointed out that if there is no democracy in the mainland, even if there is democracy in Hong Kong, it is not a true democracy. That kind of democracy is an authoritarian democracy, he said. His remarks ring true today, 10 years later, as Hong Kong's electoral system has completely changed. Xi Jinping signed the order on March 30th this year, expanded the 70 seats in electrical to 90 seats, and reduced the number of seats Hong Kong public can elect from 35 to 20, so 15 less seats. The candidates will also have to be vetted by the National Security Office in Hong Kong. The new setup will guarantee a pro-CCP majority in the electoral. As you can see, there are people like far away, like they are the pro-CCP demonstrators. There's always the two forces, one the pro-democracy and then the pro-CCP.
係啊，撐到底。大家醒唔起添，太早啦。
今日咪打電話
唔知啊。
政治檢控可恥，政治檢控可恥，和平示威無罪，和平示威無罪。
The crowds are chanting, "It is not guilty to peacefully gather, and we have the right to do so." And they're chanting the classic slogan during the anti-extradition protest, 5 demands, not one less. And they're chanting to release all political prisoners. And it's shameful to persecute someone because of the person's political stance. And it's innocent to hold a rally. It's innocent to hold a parade. To persevere until the end, they are chanting. We are facing this plainly and earnestly because we think that today being a Hong Konger is our proud. The speaker right now is Cheuk-yan, who's a veteran Democrat. He said, "You never walked alone. Hong Kongers, we are forever not going to be disappointed and feel defeated. And now, although the outside is very dark, but together, we will walk through the storms. And when we overcome the storms, every one of us, we are very hopeful in our hearts. This is what I will tell the Hong Kongers. We will walk this path together. We will be hopeful in our hearts." Today, a lot of our fellow protesters are still being imprisoned. Despite that, we should still walk together ahead. Hong Kong has hopes, but I will not be alone. We will walk the path of democracy until we achieve victory. Hong Kongers persevere. Hong Kongers persevere.
The penalty is sentencing, and I'm proud that I can walk with people of Hong Kong in this road for democracy. And I want to dedicate this song to all people of Hong Kong. You will never walk alone. We will walk together through the storm, even in daggers. We will walk with hope in our hearts. And we believe that if we work together, we will, in this law of democracy and freedom, we will win. So, the people of Hong Kong, together we walk. And then, no matter whether we are in jail or outside, we walk together. So, I want to thank you, all the people of Hong Kong, for the comradeship, the feeling of solidarity together, and with this feeling of solidarity, we can win. Thank you.
Now speaking is Albert Ho. He's a former Hong Kong lawmaker and former Democratic Party chair. And now in front of the microphone
could lock us up behind bars,
is Sid Ho.
but they cannot lock up our mind, not our conscience. We are not the first batch of prisoners of conscience, and we will not be the last. But I believe that in times of hardness, Hong Kong people will stand together, and we will get through this dark day. So keep our hope and keep our spirit. This dark day will definitely pass away very soon. 政府可以監禁我哋，佢可以安住我哋。
The government, they can imprison us.
佢韞唔住
However,
香港人嘅良心。
they cannot imprison Hong Kongers' conscience. We are not the first group of political prisoners, and we will not be the last group of political prisoners. A lot of young people, they are already imprisoned. They didn't even go through trials,
8個月，
but they were detained for over a few weeks. In this difficult time, I know that Hong Kongers will unite together. We will care about each other. One day, because we will persevere because we all have hopes.
如果今次我哋要被判入獄，
If this time
只要係因
we
為
will be sentenced and
我哋唔
imprisoned,
願意
this is because we are willing to sacrifice some of our freedoms, such that
好多香港嘅市民
a lot of Hong Kong citizens,
睇到佢
such that they can have their freedom of speech, freedom of rallying, and freedom
所以
of
我
gathering.
哋並冇後悔。
Therefore, we have no regrets.
就算今日我哋要被判入獄，
Even if today we will be sentenced to prison, and even if we are facing a certain amount of imprisonment, we will be very
繼續
calm.
係懷有希望。
We still have hopes in our
我
hearts.
哋堅持咗我嘅信念，
We are steadfast to our faith. We want to tell every single Hong Konger
最緊要做到一樣嘢。
the most important thing we need to do is one thing.
要做到嘅嘢，
Everyone has to do one thing, which is to tell the truth.
起碼唔能夠講假
At
話
least you cannot
可以發聲
tell
嘅
any
人
lies. The ones who are able to speak up, you have to speak the truth.
面對住
We have to face
向佢
such
講
a
真話
regime
我哋
and we
係
tell them the
在
truth.
真實之中，
We have to live in reality and truth. We have the confidence.
香港
Darkness will eventually pass.
一定會
Hong Kong
回
will
翻正常，
definitely return to normalcy
一個更好嘅將來。
and walk to a better future. They're chanting 5 demands no one lets Hong Kongers persevere. So just now, Lake Cheuk-yan and also Albert Ho and also Sid Ho, they all came out to speak about their feelings and support. And now outside the courthouse, there are a group of pro-CCP people who are trying to make troubles. Right now, what we are hearing, the loud voices, is what they are making, is being made by them. But also, there are supporters of the protest here as well.
There's always the two forces, one of the pro-democracy and then the pro-CCP. They always with the loudspeakers, very loud, trying to disrupt things. And they were scolding Jimmy Lai. As you can see, the banners.
Our reporter, right outside the courthouse, he's giving us updates about the latest developments.
I don't know whether I have much to say, but
Okay. So can you tell me your name?
Hans Lutz,
Where are you from?
Switzerland,
How long have you been in Hong Kong?
over 50 years.
50 years, wow. So why are you here today?
Well, I mean, two of my former colleagues and friends are in court, Young Sam and Lei Cheuk-yan. So of course I care for them and what happens to them.
So what do you think of the conviction, and then if there's sentencing this afternoon, what do you think, what is the meaning of it?
Well, I mean, it's the law. The government has the power and the legal means to convict them, and they have accepted to be tried. So I think that is civil disobedience. You break the law for your convictions, and I respect them for that.
So what do you see the future of Hong Kong?
Well, right now I'm very pessimistic. I wonder how things are going forward. Somehow the democratic forces will have to regroup. But how this can be done, I think at the present time nobody knows. It's very clear that they are going to be excluded from the political process.
I see. You know they revamped the electoral system here in Hong Kong. What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's all sealed up. I very much wonder if anybody of the so-called opposition will be running the hurdles to try to be a candidate. I think that it's very, very high, very difficult.
Yeah. So, you heard of Epoch Times that the printing shop is being vandalized, and today is the first time they start publishing the newspaper. So, what do you think of it?
What newspaper? Sorry.
Epoch Times. Epoch Times.
Oh, Apple Time. Well, Apple Time has been a very radical critic of the government, and I think there are many people who read it. I don't particularly, but we'll see what happens to the paper now too. Yeah.
I see. So what is your emotion now about like staying here in Hong Kong? Like, do you feel depressed, sad, or?
I'm not optimistic, but I feel it's my duty to stand with Hong Kong people at this stage. I'm not planning to leave.
So, how do you describe Hong Kong to the Westerners? How do you describe the Hong Kong nowadays to Westerners?
Well, I'm explaining the whole procedure which has been installed. It is regrettable, but in a way it's not unexpected. I mean, it was very clear that Beijing would react on the disturbances and also the filibustering, the blockage in the Legislative Council.
Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel hopeful? Hopeful? Do you feel hopeful? Like the future of Hong Kong? Do you think there can?
I mean, ordinary life will go on, but the political life will be very difficult.
Thank you.
There's some younger farmers. Just go and see if we can interview them. Okay? I'll come down anyway. Thank you very much. What's your name, sir?
Hans Lutz.
Sorry?
Hans Lutz. H-A-N-S-L-U-T-Z.
Thank you.
Okay. Here's the group of the EU Council representatives, and they're attending court and make sure that the justice procedure is carried out properly. And they said they're doing it on a regular basis, and then and they're coming to also this is the regular procedure.
He's got a card there. He's got a card. Do you want it?
No, it's okay. So here's a quick summary of what happened so far. A large number of Hong Kong citizens lined up outside of the West Kowloon Courts building early in the morning. I heard that the earliest they started came at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the judge is going to decide on the sentences of 2 cases of 9 veteran Hong Kong Democrats today. And the daughter of one of the defendants, founder of the Next Media, Jimmy Lai, and Edwin Chin, a senior hedge fund manager, also came. He's also the convener of the 2047 Hong Kong Monitor. And then Charles Whitley, director of the European Union's Hong Kong office, also came. He said that today's trial is a landmark event involving many famous Democrats and peaceful demonstrations. The international community is very concerned about it, so he came to listen in. So we have seen the arrivals of defendants Margaret Ng, Martin Lee, and Albert Hall, and Cardinal Joseph Zen, a former bishop of Hong Kong. He also came to show his support. Martin Lee said, "We will not give up," he said, and he added, "We will have hope if we continue our effort." When a reporter asked him about his health, he said he's okay. Okay, hi, Emily.
Yeah, hi.
Why are you here?
Well, of course, we want to be able to get in to attend the trial of our colleagues. And there's one at 9:30 with the 9 activists, and another one at 2:20. So we hope to be able to get in. It seems the court's quite full.
So what do you think of the conviction? And like if there's any sentencing, what's the meaning of it?
Well, I don't think we should second guess the courts. Although some people, particularly the young people, said the independence of the judiciary is dead. But some of us still have a little bit of confidence in the judges. So let us see what happens. I don't want to second guess them. I just hope that they will get a free and fair and objective trial and verdict. And I'm glad to see that the people from the consulate corps are here, because we want the international community to know what's going on. Hong Kong is still an international city, and we hope our core values would not be destroyed completely.
So what do you think of the electoral system which being revamped lately?
Well, I think that they have really just turned the whole system upside down, and that could mean the end of one country, two systems. It's very, very sad. I don't think it's necessary.
Do you have hope for the future of this city?
Of course. I never lose hope. Never give up. Never give in. But fight, struggle in a peaceful and non-violent way. Maybe there are consequences. Maybe some of us will end up behind bars. But we have to continue to fight.
So do you plan to leave the city?
No, I have no plan to go anywhere.
Because I know there's people leaving. They worry that after August 1st, they might not be able to leave, right?
That's fine. I think people should have the options, and we respect their decisions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This man, he's taking pictures, videos of these people lining up in the court. He's probably a special agent. You know that here, that man. He's just going around the line, and then a woman yelled, stop taking the videos. He is leaving the scene now. He's going to the pro CCP camp.
Yeah, he's on the phone quite a lot.
But there's another guy shooting video of the lady who is waving her flag. You see that? That tall guy? You want to change your camera there, yeah. So you see that's the guy who's taking the video. But he may not be the What's that? You want to go near? Okay. Good morning. What's your title?
I'm the district councillor in the Tunmun. Yeah, I'm Kerry Low. Yeah.
So why are you here today?
Because as you see that we are here to waiting for the judgment, the final judgment of the sentence and the penalty to the politicians, the politicians which is involving in the events of 816, which is a peaceful protest. We are very angry that how come today the peaceful protest or just a freedom has been completely collapsed by our government. We don't have any room to express our voice under the freedom of speech and or freedom of protest, etc.
I see. So what do you think of the conviction and probably sentencing this afternoon? What's the meaning, do you think?
I think this will become a very serious signal to the international that whether Hong Kong is still maintaining, upholding the one country, two system, and also different kinds of freedom has been completely collapsed in Hong Kong.
So the electoral system is being revamped. So what do you think of it?
I think Hong Kong, under the new electoral system, I don't think that Hong Kong has a fair and a complete democratic election already, because as you know, the system has a lot of barriers and also obstacles to screen out potential candidates which is not supported by the government. I think democratic system has been completely collapsed in Hong Kong.
So what do you think the future of the city will be like?
Sadly to say that the future is just like the weather today, quite grey, quite cloudy. But I think that Hong Kong people are very, They are. Once we never give up, the sun will be above the sky. Yeah.
So what's your emotion? What do you feel now?
My feel is very complicated, as you know that all the politicians and also that the arrested people inside are very famous people in Hong Kong, which has been served in Hong Kong for a long time. It's a very sad thing. However, I think that you see that so many people to queue up here. Even I know that some are queuing up here last night till today morning. I think our hearts never change. This is very touching.
So do you plan to leave the city?
Of course not. This is our home, our family. We don't live here because we still love here and want to commit more effort to serve and to save Hong Kong.
You're not afraid?
Of course we are afraid, but when we together, the afraid will be less and also fewer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Most concern of this case?
You can comment. You can follow up with our office. I can give you my business card. Thank you.
So can you tell me when do you arrive to the court and what do you expect to hear today?
Sorry, you can follow up with my office. I can give you my business card. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some colleagues are already inside.
I think the EU consulate representative is still waiting to get into the court. They don't want to be interviewed, but they said this is a pretty standard procedure that they do in every country when there's court hearings like this, and just to make sure that the proper justice procedure is carried out. Okay, they're letting more people to go inside, including Emily Lau, which we just interviewed her. Emily Lau is also a former lawmaker, and she said never give up and never give in. And then she was born January 21st, 1952. She's a Hong Kong politician who champions press freedom and human rights. A former journalist, she became the first woman directly elected on the electoral of Hong Kong in 1991 electoral elections. And Emily said she didn't think that people should second-guess the courts, that some people, particularly the young people, said the independence of the judiciary is dead. But some of us still have a little bit of confidence in the judges. So let's see what happened. That's what she said. And she said, I just hope that they will get a free and fair and objective trial and verdict. And I'm glad to see that the people from the consular corps are here, because we want the international community to know what's going on. She thinks Hong Kong is still an international city, and she hopes that Hong Kong's core value will not be destroyed completely. And speaking about the new electoral system in Hong Kong, Emily said, well, I think that they have really just turned the whole system upside down, and that could mean that at the end of one country, two systems. And she said it's very, very sad, and she doesn't think it's necessary. But then she said she still has hope for Hong Kong, and so she said never give up and never give in. So maybe there are consequences. Maybe some of us will end up behind bars, but we have to continue to fight. That's what she said. Okay, the lady that's waving her flag now, her name is Alexandra Wong, and then she is also called Grandma Wong, and she is a Hong Kong social activist of the pro-democracy camp. She came to international attention in 2019 during the anti-extradition movement, when she was waving a large British flag at the pro-democracy protest in August 2019. And Grandma Wong, she went missing, and then she was only heard of sporadically until she publicly resurfaced on October 17, 2020, at a press conference in Hong Kong, where she shared her ordeal of being held on the Chinese mainland for 14 months.
Okay, you want to try? You want to talk to her first? Hmm? Go up there. It's okay, Alan's finished this up. It's okay.
Okay, now we're going to interview Grandma Wong. And so can you tell me what's your name?
I'm Alexandra Wong, Grandma Wong. Yeah.
You're from Hong Kong?
Yeah, I was born in Hong Kong. Now I'm 64 years old, but after 1 month I will be 65 years old.
Why are you here today?
I support today a lot of the group from. I'm very sorry they disturbed me. I'm really very sorry. I don't like this woman. She always disturb us, not support us. They look like support the democracy group, but actually they make chaos. They make chaos. Then unfortunately, around us we always see a lot of spies. A lot, different kinds of spies make us very, very nervous. I support today more than 10 politicians of democracy were they must face the court today. About four charges for different persons. Unfortunately, today is really very, very make us frightened. I'm scared because always more of us were arrested and faced the court.
It's all because of the national security law, right?
Yeah.
It's because of the national security law, right?
Jimmy Lai, yes. Jimmy Lai faced the security, the law, the national. Pardon?
Are you worried about the law?
It's difficult to say because it's possible I must face the national security law also. But I prepare good to be imprisonment Yeah, I prepare good now impeachment because I also need to face the court after 3 weeks. But it is not the national security law. But Jimmy Lai faced the security law. Yeah, it made me very, very upset today. Yeah.
What do you think of the future of Hong Kong?
In the short time, we don't see the future. Very, very upset. Yeah, we cannot do a lot in Hong Kong. Actually, we need really help from international. Yeah, the international helping we need really. Yeah, fortunately, a lot of countries support us. Yeah, thank you so much for the supporting from all over the world. But we need more support. Really, we need more support. Otherwise, we cannot survive. Yeah, more people will be sent to the prison. Yeah, I want really the supporting from all over the world. Yeah, the helping from all over the world. We really need it. Yeah. Our patient is always healthier and healthier. Always healthier and healthier. To make us, for example, for me, my health is very bad now because of the always more people, always more politicians must sent to the prison, and the fighting is more difficult because not too much people come out to fight now. Yeah, they need to they need to stay in the prison, and then Jimmy Lai, I heard that Jimmy Lai perhaps will be sent to China. Yeah, so I worry that. Yeah.
So how are you feeling now?
Pardon?
How are you feeling now?
I feel very, very upset. Yeah, I don't know how to say. To make me really, really, very upset.
And you're not afraid coming out? You're not afraid coming out?
I'm afraid for myself. You mean myself? Yeah, perhaps it's possible because I always wave the British flag. I am afraid, but I must do this. I must. If I stop to wave my flag, wave my British flag, it doesn't mean that I'm safe. So I must wave and support the democracy politicians. Yeah, they are.
Why British flag?
Because I love British colony very much, and thank you so much for the British colony. Thank you, really. Thanks so much to the British colony. They built up the core value of Hong Kong. Yeah. When I was young, I saw the future. I saw the future. I have freedom. I have a lot of chance to have a good job. when I was young, I can save money to do what I want, to go out to learn in Austria, and my friends, really everybody they could buy the apartment. Some of them can buy 2 apartments. Yeah.
Things are very different now, right?
Yeah, yes. For the young people, I ought to say that no chance for the young people. They cannot buy the apartment, and also they cannot get the good job. Yeah, this is a very great problem in Hong Kong now. The young people cannot see the future. Yeah, to make me very angry to our Hong Kong government and Chinese central government. Make me really very, very angry. They give us more press. They give us every day a new press. Always. Then it's really, I don't know what can I do more. Or I need to, I don't know, I really don't know what can I do now. But yeah, anyway, I will go on to wave my British flag until I am arrested again. Yeah. I know that I will be arrested again one more time or one more time, I don't know. After I come back Hong Kong in half year, about a little bit more than 6 months, I was arrested three times. I was arrested 3 times, and one charge will be. I will face 1 charge after 3 weeks, and 2 charge is not official charge me, only arrested, but I don't know when come the charges.
So you still have to report to the police station?
No need, because I'm peaceful. It's impossible for me to violence. For me is I never do, because I'm so small old woman. How can I do something to fight or to assault? To assault. But after 3 weeks, after three weeks, I face the charge is common assault to the common assault to the police, to the security guard in High Court. The ground floor by the security check. How? It was the charge. It happened before 2 years ago, but now they take the charge again. Take out the charge again, and then officially charge me. Yeah, it's terrible. This I didn't do anything to the police, to the security guard, because at that time about 20 security guards there, and also 2 policemen. How can I was alone. I was alone at that day. how can I assault the security guards? Yeah, now I face the common assault. Yeah, come.
In 3 weeks, right? You go to the court in 3 weeks, right?
After 3 weeks. Yeah, in 3 weeks. Thank you so much. Thank you for your interview. Thank you.
Very good.
So the mitigation hearing just began around local time 9:45. And there are still people lining up to wait to get into the court.
They may be here for the afternoon session.
Yeah, that could be the case.
As freedoms are increasingly suppressed in Hong Kong, media freedom in the city has also caught international attention. And in the early hours of April 12th, 4 intruders barged into the printing facility of Hong Kong edition of the Epoch Times, damaging computers and printing equipment in an attack believed to be the latest effort by the Chinese Communist Party to silence the news outlet. In an attack on the same facility in November 2019, 4 masked men set fire to 2 printing presses. The perpetrators are still at large. Cheryl Ng, a spokeswoman for the Hong Kong edition, said the intrusion was characteristic of the CCP and had the aim of silencing an independent outlet from reporting on topics that are too taboo to the communist regime. The spokesperson also condemned the attack, saying that it was a crime against Hong Kong's freedom of speech. The Epoch Times held a press conference in Washington, D.C. a few days ago. And the Epoch Times is one of the few independent media outlets in Hong Kong, and it is known for its uncensored coverage of China, including political infighting within the CCP, the regime's human rights violations against ethnic minorities and religious groups, and Beijing's propaganda and influence operations abroad.
Things are getting increasingly difficult for Hong Kong's independent media. The Epoch Times Hong Kong edition had their printing house smashed by hammer-wielding intruders. The 4 men barged into the printing plant and started destroying printing equipment. They also stole a computer. Now the news outlet has suspended printing due to the damage. The Epoch Times is the sister media of NTD. The paper is known to have drawn the ire of Chinese authorities. That's because they have reported extensively on human rights abuses in China and Beijing's crackdown on Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. This is the 5th time the paper's printing facilities are attacked. The same printing house was set on fire in 2019. Hong Kong police say they still haven't found the suspects. The facility was also attacked in 2006 and twice in 2013. Police have not filed charges in any of the cases. Earlier this year, a reporter for the Epoch Times in Hong Kong said police in China threatened her family. They demanded that her family stop her from working for the paper, otherwise they would arrest her on charges under the national security law.
The police said if my parents lose their daughter, they will be really sad, just threatening them like that.
The paper spokeswoman condemned the violence last night. She accused Chinese authorities of mounting the attack.
Such criminal act is not just targeting Epoch Times, but the free media of Hong Kong in general as well. The real purpose is to destroy the free flow of information in Hong Kong, Hong Kong society's fundamental fabric. We will not back down from our efforts of speaking for the silenced. We will not bow to the bullying.
Hong Kong's Journalists Association also released a statement against the violence. Last year, the Chinese regime pushed through a so-called national security law that punishes criticism against Beijing. Authorities have since conducted sweeping arrests of pro-democracy figures. Many said the law is an official death sentence for Hong Kong's freedom. Penny Zhou, NTD News.
In Washington, D.C., the director of the Epoch Times Hong Kong edition gave new details on the attack.
As soon as the attackers barged into the printing plant, they threatened the staff, telling them not to do anything that would force the attackers to take action. They caused extensive damage to the printing equipment. The printing press control panel sustained the most severe damage, while the transmitter, several computers, and a CPU were also destroyed.
The Epoch Times also released footage that shows 4 masked men breaking into the printing house. They smashed computers and printing machinery and threw concrete rubble onto the printing equipment. Guo Jun said the attack is not an isolated incident.
This attack is not an isolated incident. It's the 5th time since its establishment in 2006 that criminals have targeted the printing press. Since last October, staff at the printing press have been monitored and followed by unknown vehicles.
She says the same facility was attacked in November 2019. That's when 4 masked men broke in and set fire to the building. There was also another attack back in October 2012.
Thugs tried to smash open the gate to the facility. 2 months later, 7 men carrying toolboxes attempted to break into the facility, but fled after being discovered by security guards.
Founded in the United States in 2000, the Epoch Times began publishing in Hong Kong in 2001.
The Chinese Communist Party has used every trick in the book to suppress the Epoch Times in Hong Kong in an attempt to prevent the city's people from getting independent news. The Epoch Times is one of the few remaining voices in the Hong Kong media landscape that does not bend to the CCP.
The attack on free press has gained increasing attention from U.S. lawmakers. The director thanked the international community for its support. She said Hong Kong Epoch Times will never bow to the Chinese Communist Party and will continue reporting the truth. The Hong Kong Epoch Times office has suspended its printing operations due to the damage, but Guo Jun says staff are in the process of repairing the equipment. She expects to start printing again by April 16th.
Right now, we're seeing footage shot by our reporters live in Hong Kong outside the courthouse where the several Hong Kong democracy activists are being sentenced. And right now, our reporter inside the courthouse is giving us some updates about what's going on. Jimmy Lai, the media tycoon's attorney, Audrey Yu Yokmai, has just finished her statement. The attorney said that the case of the unauthorized assembly on August 18, 2019 was different than an illegal assembly. There was no illegal entrance of any venues. Lai was just walking in the procession. The lawyer also said that he didn't speak or play a leading role in it. The attorney also stated that the police didn't intervene that day, which showcases that the assembly was very peaceful, without even the need for the police to maintain order. She also pleaded the judge to rule in a punishment without prison terms. Even if the judge decides on prison terms, you ask for delay in implementing the prison terms. Because the August 18 and August 31st events were so close to each other and that Lai didn't receive any warnings from the police, Lai did not repeat offenses during bail. You hope that the judge will decide on both cases together. This is the update from inside the courthouse in Hong Kong.
This is extremely gutsy. The Chinese Communist Party is not known for taking criticism very well.
The police have blocked off the streets and been firing tear gas and beanbag rounds at the protesters, and they've made several arrests.
警方呢是一直进行了一些推进，并且呢是多次举起黑旗和橙旗呢去發射了很多的催淚彈。
即係佢哋放催淚彈嗰時，嘭咁撞到個肚㗎。咁咧就我而家翻轉頭咧就見到個咁嘅嘢，因為嗰陣時兵荒馬亂咧，我就。
That's the media liaison. They're telling us that we need to get out of here. They're telling the press to leave.
like this tear gas is getting pretty strong.
We have a new channel. Subscribe to us on YouTube at NTD News. Get the highlights of our news broadcast and the most important headlines that we curate especially for you.
Don't miss out on important news. Our videos are being deleted. So if you don't want to be cut off from honest news, take a moment to sign up for our newsletter at newsletter.ntd.com so you don't lose access to NTD. Go to newsletter.ntd.com to sign up for our evening newsletter.